Hey, I'm EberDev3 and today we're building a fully working flashlight system for your game, featuring battery drain over time, flickering when it's low, adjustable spotlight angle, realistic fading, and of course an on and off toggle. I built this system to show you a clean, flexible way to add lighting to your game, something that's super useful for horror, stealth, or just creating an atmosphere. And it's surprisingly easy to set up. I am using URP, but this works just as well in built-in or HDRP. Let's start by building a simple test scene. Add a plane and name it floor. Scale it up so there's some room to walk around. Add 4 cubes for walls, just enough to box in the space. Delete or disable the directional light so the scene is completely dark. Next, add a flashlight model, a cube, or even just an empty game object. Attach a spotlight to it and aim it forward. Then parent the flashlight object to your main camera, especially if you're using a player controller. Now we've got our environment ready. Now we're going to create a new script called flashlight and attach it to your flashlight game object. We're going to break the logic into smaller methods to do exactly one thing each. Open up the script and let us begin coding. The first thing we're going to do is to create some variables. I'll explain later what to do as they show up. Let's start with the on and off toggle for the flashlight. Create a method called handleFlashlightToggle. We're going to toggle the flashlight variable like this. This means it switches from true to false and back again each time you press the key or mouse button. We use that to control whether the spotlight is enabled or not. Also, play the toggle audio clip here if you have one, like this. That's it, now you can toggle the flashlight. Also, use whatever input that feels right for your game. This can either be pressing the mouse button or pressing a key like E for example. Or you can of course use both. Now let's make the battery slowly drain. Create a method called handleBatteryDrain. If the flashlight is on, start slowly subtracting the battery life based on the battery drain rate. When it reaches 0, turn off the flashlight boolean and disable the spotlight. Now let's allow the player to change the beam angle using the scroll wheel. Create a method called handleFlashlightAngleChange. You can get the scroll value like this. If mathf.abs scroll is greater than 0, which makes any number positive, change the spotlight's spot angle by multiplying the scroll value with your angle change speed. Also, clamp it between angle min and angle max. This lets you make the beam narrower and stronger, or wider and dimmer. I also recommend keeping some reasonable min and max limits. Now let's build a flickering effect that gets stronger as the battery gets lower. Create a method that returns a float value called getFlickerAmount, which will change the flashlight's intensity with a flicker. Don't worry about the math here, but what it does basically is check how close the current battery is to the max battery. 0 being not close at all and 1 being the identical value. This makes the flicker get stronger and stronger the lower the battery gets. Then we're going to use our flickering animation curve to make the gradual flickering nicer. Hold up, what is an animation curve, you might ask? Well, for those who don't know, animation curves are essential and something I use in almost every script. Animation curves are basically a way to change the t value, the value that interpolates something between A and B. Unity does this linearly by default, but with animation curves you can make it smoother and generally nicer. After this, we're going to get the flicker amount by randomizing a value in the range of flicker range detail. Multiply that with the t value, subtract with the detail so the detail doesn't change the strength of the flicker, and finally multiply that with the flicker intensity and return the flicker amount. And we're going to use this in the final method called handleFlashlightIntensityChange, which will control the intensity of the spotlight, making it both weaker and weaker as the time goes on, adding flicker to it and making it stronger the more concentrated the beam is. First I have a float value called t that gets the interpolation value from the current battery and max battery. Then I get the angle t, the interpolation value for my angle multiplier here. which makes the light stronger the more concentrated it is. Finally, we get the final intensity value with mathf.lerp between the min and the max light intensity variables with the t value, multiply that with the angle multiplier and add the flickering. After this, we're going to have to call all of these methods in the update method, like this. Also add a check at the top. If current battery is 0, then return, so it does not call all these methods when the flashlight is dead. And well, that's your flashlight system. It fades, flickers, strains, and gives your game a pretty cool mechanic to build around. All variables are public too, so you can tweak everything in the inspector and make it feel just right for your game. Thanks for watching. If you like this tutorial, hit like and subscribe. I've got more dev videos and mechanic breakdowns coming soon, and I'll see you later.